Hey everyone, it's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, wherever you can find it, so you can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our patrons, Doug Jones, Joshua and Caleb Slinkard, Tom Brotherman. Tom's in the chat room, by the way, so looking forward to hearing from him tonight. Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, Nick Hubbard, Andrew Tiepkin, Cecilia Perez, Sydney Sawyer, Elena Mahar, Jane Jewell, Memphis Mafia, Craig Michelle, the Geo Gearheads, Zach Fick, the Deadliest Cachers, Tim Terrell, Neil Moore, Molly the Geocaching Dog, Dee and David Vickery, Geocaching Adam, Lori Post, Peter Stepanek, the No Code Geocachers, Paula Hughes, Ed Shaper, John Langston, and our new patron, Scott Thompson. And we have a returning patron, Deborah Burris is back with us. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocachetalk for more details. Patrons get path tags, coins. We're going to mention something about the coins here in a second. And other geocaching swag during the year, as well as invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. Well, we got a huge show tonight. We're just going to jump right in. Let me start by welcoming my co-host, Sydney.
Hey, everybody.
And Jesse.
Good evening.
Back from Vegas.
Yes.
We're not going to ask you what you did in Vegas because you're not supposed to do that.
You can't tell what happens. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right?
That's right. Other than you did some geocaching and munzeeing.
I did. I did.
Sweet.
We got to mark 2 more off the top 20 favorited caches list from this book that I read.
Is it this book right here, the 201 geocaches?
No, it was this book right here.
Oh, that one. Okay, never mind.
This one, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Just as an update, I have now gotten 10 out of 20 on that page.
What?
I got my list 10 out of 20. So I don't know if y'all can beat that or not, but that's where I'm at.
I wrote the book, and I haven't even done that many, so you're way ahead, buddy. But did you enjoy the 2 in Vegas that are on that 201 geocaches to find before you die?
I did, and we'll probably spend too much time talking about it, but I would say they definitely deserve to be on that list, and we can get to them on another show, but both of them definitely deserve to be on that list.
Sweet. All right, well, let's jump right into show number 63 for August 20th as we welcome Rob Vardaman. I'm not going to speak tonight. Rob Vardaman, the CZeeO, to the show. Welcome to Geocache Talk, and for tonight, it's Munzee Talk.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Congrats on 63 shows and all those patrons out there. It's good to have support. I know how that works, so that's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, and that's the thing too. I said Munzee Talk. We're actually going to talk about a lot of different location-based games. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight, covering some things that I think people might be interested in that may not know as much about, and having the president, the CZeeO. What was the other one we had on? We were talking about before, Rob.
Oh yes, the gameplay general.
The gameplay general. Yeah. I had you were the QR ambassador, but that's just for Munzee. So there's.
That's it. That's true too.
All right, a quick news item before we get into to the other parts of the show is our coin is now out. Let me focus for a moment, and let me show everybody. Dun, 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 saying put it right where the logo is behind me. Like that. Pretty sweet. Oh, everybody's got, like all 3 of us got them. So Sydney's got hers, and Jesse's got his.
Rob doesn't have one.
Rob, sorry, buddy. I'll drop one off one day at Munzee headquarters.
Hey, there you go. I'll make a trade.
There you go. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I will bring one by. Anyway, if you would like to own one of these, if you become a patron, you get one free. All the patrons, I'll be shipping these out for the next week or 2. So you should be getting your coin in the mail, because this is what we do for our patrons. We give away some free stuff to them for their support. If you'd like to own one, if you go out to our website, geocachetalk.com, you can buy one of these nice coins for $15. What a deal. And that's with shipping included. So go get you one out there on the website. So, all right. We're going to start with a getting to know Rob section. Rob, tell us about yourself.
Well, let's see. There's so much to tell, so that's the problem. I got to keep it short, and let me just kind of give you a quick history, because this is Geocache Talk, and what a lot of people don't know about me is that I am actually a long-time geocacher. I started playing back in September of 2003. So I've spent some time out there in the woods, not finding things, and
that's true sometimes.
Yeah, those DNFs. I've got plenty of them. So I really enjoy geocaching. I was actually out geocaching here in the Dallas area, because I'm based in we're based in McKinney, Texas, just north of Dallas, and I was out geocaching and looking for a small container, match stick tube that was camouflaged, hanging in the corner of a windmill. That's all it said. And out on a country road. And instead what I found is a little QR code tag. Like, it was literally sitting there flapping in the breeze. So I was like, this is weird. And that was August of 2011. And looked at the tag, and it said on there, scan me for points. And like maybe a couple of weeks or a month before, I had downloaded a QR code scanner to my phone. And so I scanned it with that QR code scanner, and it took me to the Munzee website, looked at that and went, this actually looks like something that I would enjoy. So I spent the next 4 hours that I was going to geocache. I spent the next 4 hours driving around a little more than 100 miles, got about 75 points that day, and felt really good about myself.
Sweet, that's like 5 points at a time back then.
It was absolutely 5 points at a time. And the fun part is that I really got into it. And so I continued to geocache. I did some Munzee as well, sort of on the side. And then kind of made contact with Aaron, who was the president of Munzee, and made contact with him and started talking back and forth with him about how difficult one of the hides was, and told him that I'd used my best geocaching skills and that I could not find this one, and I can't even remember what it was called. And he emailed me back and said, you need to reset your geocaching skills, because my 6-year-old daughter hit it, and you're probably standing right underneath it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Went back out there. It was a decoy dove that was hanging in a tree, and it was right above my head. So I come from that geocaching background. I always enjoyed climbing the trees. I always enjoyed going across the creeks. I enjoyed all of those things. But when I found Munzee, I found sort of a different game, that everything wasn't hidden quite like that. What I found was something that the goal seemed to be scan it, move on to the next one.
Sure.
And that sort of gameplay kind of, grabbed my interest and moved on from there. And about a month later, I tracked down Aaron after having emailed him a bunch. I figured out the general area where he lived based on some of his deploys. And he emailed me and said, hey, you're in my neighborhood. Swing by. Cool. I did, and told him one day I'm going to work for you. And a year later I started, and
here you are.
Now here we are. So,
that's awesome. Yeah. So where are we with Munzee as far as I think it'd be good to kind of let people know how, do we have an idea of like or do you have an idea of like, is it fairly global? How many Munzees are there currently, you think, roughly? I know it's tough every day to figure it out, but how many players? I mean, give some idea of the stats, and then also, if you could, Rob, tell us a little bit about your experience with. I mean, you travel around the country, I know, a lot, but what is the experience you've had in some of the experiences you've had traveling and getting to sort of hear from folks about what the game's doing and what you're hearing about the game from others?
Okay, so you just hit me in like all my favorite things about what I get to do now. So you actually made it very difficult for me to choose which one of those things goes
I know.
first.
Well, let's start with the stats. Give us the cold hard stats,
okay.
and then we'll work to the people. There we go.
So I'm a 15-year math teacher. That's what I did when I convinced Aaron that I needed to work for Munzee full time. I was a teacher, 15 years, math, 7th, 8th grade. Those little, 13-year-olds, perfect. So we are pushing on towards 7 million deployed Munzees all around the world. And we actually have a stat that ticks real time on the website. And so Scott is super proud of that. He worked really hard to make sure that we could have that information up. It keeps track of how many players we have, how many deployed Munzees, how many captures. And in the office, we can actually see the number of points daily, like as it happens there. We've got a board that scrolls. We have little dots that show up on the map that tell us where people are playing. And as long as you can see dots on the screen, that means the game is up and running. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing.
Yeah. So we're moving on towards 7 million deployed Munzees around the world, active. We average more than 100,000 a month now. So that number continues to grow quickly. It took 3 years for us to get our 1 millionth deploy.
Right.
So now we're pushing more than 1 million in less than a year. We'll before long it'll probably end up at 1 million. We'll take about 6 months.
Do you track? I know it's kind of hard because people come and go, but do you have an idea of? Do you have a way? Do you guys try to track like active users, or do you just have a way of knowing how many people have a login? Or because it's hard because people come and go. But
right, so we have active login. We have that information. We're kind of interesting in that we're 6 years old. July was our 6th birthday. Launched in July 2011, and there's a lot of things that we do. That are like real good, and there's a lot of things that we do that we focused on gameplay. We focused on, hey, we got to keep everything up and running. We focused on all of the things that were important for you guys on the other end of the phone, as opposed to I don't know, sort of the analytics side.
Yeah.
So a tie-in to what we'll talk about later, that's kind of a big part of the freeze tag merger that we've got coming in, is because those guys are actually really good with analytics, and they're good at looking at how many players are active, how many people played last Sunday that aren't playing this Sunday, those kinds of things. Using that information in order to grow the game, in order to grow the map in, where Sydney is, because she needs more players there.
Right.
So that she can get more than 75 points in a day like I did, 6 years ago.
Well, yeah, don't let her kid you. She can rack up the points quick when she wants to up there.
Sometimes it just involves a little bit of travel.
Right, Sydney. You get out. Buffalo's she's not too far from Buffalo, so Buffalo has a lot of money.
Or just buy a new house in a new place. And
right. There's
some people who do that, or you just sell your house and you get one that is on wheels, so you can just take it wherever you'd like.
There you go.
That's what they need to do. Travel.
It's not for everyone, but there are some people. Yeah.
I wish I could, but I got to work.
That's right. Okay. Well, cool. You mentioned about the freeze tag merger. We'll get to that in a second, but let's mention, because we have folks that you mentioned in a tweet, you want to mention these other two parts to things, and I want to hear a little bit about them because I've seen them, and I kind of Susan and I got a little bit when we went to the birthday bash, because we live close to McKinney, so it works out great for us. MHQ, and we got to hear a little bit about Vinci. And we're really looking forward to doing some of Vinci. We talked to, Susan will help me. Who would I have talked to about Vinci? Dylan. Yeah, I met Dylan at the birthday bash. It was fun talking to him. But there's another game called Wallaby. Tell us a little bit about Wallaby. Can I play it, or do I have to be in Australia?
Good news. You can play it anywhere. And so it's spelled WALLAB, capital B. E. So it's a combination of a
fixing it notes, but go ahead.
I don't know, a kangaroo, a wallaby, and a bee, because it actually is like a wallaby that has bee wings on it. So.
Now that's awesome.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So the history behind where that name comes from is that there was another company called Gowalla, or better yet, another app called Gowalla, that was founded down in Austin, and their company got acquired by Facebook, and so they moved on, and they dropped their game, and there was a group of us that were upset about that. So Ben Dodson was he was the former president of Wallaby, and he picked up the pieces of Gowalla and turned it into an amazing card trading type game is what it is. It's kind of like combining the Pokemon card trading or card collecting aspect, and if you combine that with Foursquare, where you would go and check in at locations, or even Facebook location check-ins, things like that. You have the ability to drop cards and to trade cards, and you pick them up, and it's just little pieces of digital artwork. You pick them up, and we've got a set that is it's a circus set, and so you collect all the different pieces of the circus set, which is the lion tamer, and the circus elephant, the clown car, all the different pieces, and there's anywhere from 6 to 30 cards per set. Sometimes you have to mix the cards together in order to make new ones. It's sort of it's one for collectors. That's what it's for. But it is a location-based game. So that's the thing that we have, and that's the direction that we're kind of moving. It's what we've always done, but we're fine tuning our direction, and so we're going to be working on location based games and kind of just fine tuning them, making them better. Some of the pieces will be integrated from one game to the next, but not across the board in everything. Wallaby's a standalone game. It's pretty awesome. Robbie McGuire is the one that runs it for us. He came to me from Disney. I got the Disneyland.
Oh yeah, I got the back there. That's cool. Yeah.
My son loves Legos, and we're big Disney freaks, so so we built that. But he came to us from Disney and has built that community and done some great things. We launched the Android version of that app in May. And we actually acquired the Wallaby app from Ben, the former president, based over in the UK. We acquired that app. Next month is going to be 2 years ago, and it was iOS only. So we spent almost 2 years trying to build the Android version as well, so that we could go and promote it. So now we actively promote that to others that are interested in location-based games, kind of like Jesse. He loves to try location-based games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone that comes out, I try it. Sometimes it only lasts about a weekend, but
yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I've got a few on my phone that I enjoy, but I keep them, or if I don't like them, I look at them and try and see, are there any pieces of this game that I really like that I think, you know what, we could do that. We could do that better. I could bring that into Munzee, or I could bring that into Wallaby, or I could bring that into Eventsy. Right. It's kind of fun for me from that aspect as well.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about Eventsy, because I think some people probably are not familiar with, because there's a couple aspects to it. I know talking with Dylan. So tell us a little about Eventsy.
So Eventsy was born because we had a need for private events. What we didn't, we had an event with 10,000 Boy Scouts at Michigan State University about 5 years ago. And when you have that many Boy Scouts playing, and you put Munzees on the map, and you have some hardcore Munzee players that see these special pins pop up on the map, they want to go. And when you've got a private event, you don't want the hordes of Munzee players showing up as well. So So we tweaked some things in Munzee first, but it wasn't working quite like we wanted it to. So we kind of drew up some plans, and Munzee, Eventsy's been around now for 2.5 years. And it's really done well, but it's used specifically for things like corporate training, Boy Scout events, things like that, all the way down to birthday parties, trade shows, you name it. So if you've got a trade show going on at a big convention center, it would be difficult to put Munzee pins out based on our proximity rules. But what you can do is you can run either a QR code based scavenger hunt with I don't know, with like polls that you can take, question and answer type stuff, things that are attached to those, or you can do it completely photo based. So that's the difference between Munzee and Eventsy, is that it's really and truly used as a photo scavenger hunt. And instead of the old pencil and paper scavenger hunts where you go to one central location, you get your pencil and paper, and you go out, you take the pictures on your phone, you come back and you scroll through your phone, and people say, oh no, that's the wrong picture. And then you're out of luck because you can't go back to it. We have real-time leaderboards and real-time approval and denial of things. We've used it for a couple of pub crawls, which is actually really fun, because when you get people taking pictures and they think that they can just slip one past you, and you hit the deny button, and then they have to go back to that place, or they have to, some people get a little upset by that, but
it's part of the game,
overall,
right? For that. Cool.
Yeah, so we it's also used by a lot of our Munzee players, like at Munzee events.
Right.
So we've got, our players all around the world host events. And so if they would like to add on the Eventsy piece, they work with Louise, who's our events manager. She's based out of the UK. And so she sets them up with everything that they need, and people are able to kind of put their own clues in. So, if you're hosting one here in Texas, you wouldn't have the same clues as you would up in Buffalo, because, you just can set up some very specific things. So
that's awesome.
It's a lot of fun, and you set up the number of clues and kind of how many points. And if people don't have fun with that, then you just go get Munzee points. And that works out too.
Exactly. Or this new item that we're going to talk about now, which is Garfield Go. So
before we get to that, we got a good question from the chat.
Good question. Yeah, go for it, Jesse.
Somebody asked, since you mentioned the Boy Scouts, is there a Munzee merit badge like there's a geocaching merit badge? And if not, when are they going to get it?
Does anybody out there have any good contacts? Because I'd be more than happy to talk to them about that.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, they've got one for geocaching now, so.
We're right now what's happening. So here's a piece of information for you that nobody else knows about, unless they're in some very specific Facebook groups. But right now we're working with a Girl Scout troop in Spartanburg, North Carolina, and so they're working on a very specific Girl Scout trail that is going to be, it's part of a silver, I think it's called Silver Badge, Silver Award. I can't remember what it is. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, Erica. But it's something that Matt from our team is working together with the Girl Scout, and then with their troop, and then with their directors as a special trail. And what, honestly, on our side, we're hoping that it turns into something bigger where we can set these up in different locations. But to answer a specific Boy Scout question, no, we don't have a merit badge. And to my knowledge, we don't qualify for the geocaching merit badge, although I would love for there to be some sort of a, joint deal there. It's okay. It's okay by me if you use geocaching and you just say, hey, Munzee's a qualifier for this as well, without changing the name on the badge. So anybody knows somebody, you can send
somebody out there's got to know somebody.
Rob@munzee.com. There you go.
Right. That's easy to remember.
Yeah, those are the kinds of things that we have worked on, but we're a small team, and kind of like I was telling you a minute ago, we've always focused really hard on what we do that runs through the phone in your hand, and trying to make sure that the experience is right. And so we've never had the right person for the job to actually go chasing the Boy Scouts, to go talk to Cabela's. I had a deal worked out with one of the local Cabela's, and oh man, it was so exciting. And then I started working full time for Munzee,
Right.
and man, it was going to be amazing. It was going to go worldwide.
It's awesome.
But you know, doesn't always happen.
So that's something that I think people don't realize is that you guys, it's, you don't have, 150 staff doing this. I mean, so when possible, if somebody could do some of their legwork or do some of the legwork for you, at least to get some information, so to kind of help you guys, if they have a really cool idea, and if they could do not only the idea, just not instead of throwing the idea at you, if they have like an idea plus they've got contacts, and if they can do some of the legwork ahead of time, maybe then send it to you.
Absolutely. We love those people. And we love them. So we have I love you at munzee.com that's set up for any of those types of things. I mean, if you've got things that you would love to see, and you can give us direction and get us 1 or 2 steps down the road, man, that'll be fantastic. That's sort of a separate way to contact us outside the normal munzee.com/contact link on the website, which has like player suggestions and things like that. So if you've got, a special type of Munzee that you think is perfect for the game and you just want to give us the idea, that one runs through the contact page. And then that goes into a pool, and some of us look at them and some of us laugh about them, and some of us look at them and say, do you know that for 2 years we've been talking about that? And one of these days we're going to have a big enough team that we can actually build that. Because right now we try and take on projects that we can complete fairly quickly. And one of those is that Pegasus that you ride on your journey through life.
I'm riding that Pegasus through life, yes. And
I saw that and thought that is perfect for where we are in Munzee right now.
And we'll get to mythologicals in a minute. But hang on, Rob. Hang on.
I know. I jump everywhere, man.
We're jumping into Munzee. We're gonna get there. We're getting there really quick too, because we gotta keep the show rolling because we've only got so much time. But tell us a little bit, because I really am interested in this merger with Freeze Tag. Tell us a little about Garfield Go, and we're not going to have time to get into the whole future of AR. That's a whole other show. But how did this occur, and what do you see with this merger?
So there are some things that are public information that I can talk about, and some obviously I can't, and I hate that. But I'm also like a super vague guy on lots of my answers all the time, in person and online.
Right.
So it kind of suits me well. But the merger is us with them. They are a public company, and so that's some of the reason why me going on and sharing all kinds of secrets is not going to be allowed moving forward. Right now we're in the process and kind of doing a bunch of, we've done due diligence and some of those kinds of things, but there's a lot of checks that have to be done in the background before an official merger can go through. We've basically signed documents saying, hey, this is what we agree to, and we would like to merge together. So lawyers, work your magic and some of that kind of stuff. Right. Came about because there was this popular app that launched last July called Pokemon Go. You might have heard of it.
Yes.
Right.
Boy, did that thing go crazy?
The 60 million people, So I don't have my patches here with me, but I did get the level 10, 20, 30, 40 that are available at the Sprint stores in the U.S. Ooh. I got all those patches.
Sydney? Sydney, you got those too?
I did not get one.
But you've been playing you still play it, right, Sydney?
I do, yeah. I'm not like crazy into it or anything. I don't have time for that, but
yeah, I make time for that because there are some things that you got to do.
But now you can like do Garfield. You can,
yes, exactly. So started playing that. We were in our office in downtown McKinney, on the square. Amazing place. And
it is. Great area, by the way.
Our offices were upstairs. and we're looking downstairs, historic courthouse right across the square, and these hordes of people just kept coming, and we knew exactly what they were doing because we were playing it too. And we're just going, you know what? All of those people should be playing Munzee. So we started putting some stuff out to put in their hands. And then I started kind of trying to spread the word that Munzee works the same as what Pokemon Go was built on, because it was actually built on Ingress. Mm-hmm. So Niantic, which was Google, and all that stuff, right. Niantic ran that for 2 years, and mm-hmm. all it was just a location-based game, and all of us, nerds and geeks that love the GPS games, we played that. That was me. And then and I submitted locations, and I helped them build their map, and I spent all my time doing it, and then here comes Pokemon Go, and we sat there and looked at it and went, we could do this. We could do this. We are Ingress. Munzee is Ingress. So let's just see if anybody out there is interested in who wants to build the next Pokemon Go. Anybody interested? It turns out that the people on Shark Tank that do the interviews and the auditions, they just kind of didn't understand what I was talking about. Back from that, because I did go and audition for that, which was a fun experience, and it gave me the chance to really think about what we were doing. I got contacted by the guys from Freeze Tag, and they pitched the idea of this Garfield Go game, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I can give you the locations. I can also help you out with some of the gameplay aspect, because the games that they had built in the past were sit on the couch, bubble right. popper, cat moving type games. They had a connection with Garfield that I did not have, and they had some other pieces to the puzzle, including the time and ability and funds and resources to build the game, where I did not. I had the locations, so sort of a good partnership formed from that. And we've been working on that, like I said, since I don't know, October. We started talking about it. They launched it May of this year, so it took that long to build it. The nice part is, that it was picked up pretty quickly, because it launched when the day of E3. So when E3 started, they launched Garfield Go, and it got picked up by a bunch of technology journals and things like that. And so everyone was comparing it specifically to Pokemon Go, which, as you can imagine, there's because the name is Garfield Go. And then you've got the people who compare it to Pokemon Go, who say, this is nothing like Pokemon Go. Oh my gosh, this is it's kid. Oh, there's, all of these different pieces. So if you think about the fact that Niantic, big, huge, tons of money, and Freeze Tag, probably not big and huge, but working in the same vein, and the first game to come out that was like Pokemon Go. And that was the goal. So It was a test, a partnership test for the two of us to see if I could do the stuff that I told them I could do, if they could do the stuff that they said they could do, which was bring in, players and those kinds of things. And as we launched that, then it's turned into, since May, a bunch of conversations about, what? I think that together as one bigger company, we could actually do some really cool stuff. And so a lot of that, it's all going to be location based. Munzee is, I don't know, I hate to say Munzee is king or anything like that, but Munzee is the big game, let's say. And Garfield Go is right there too, but Munzee is the one that will continue on, and we will continue to push everything forward. So rest assured, all you Munzee players, it's not going anywhere. And I'm not either. We're going to continue to make that happen. But Garfield Go is fun because it's Garfield. You take him on a walk. You throw his favorite food items.
Pizza, lasagna. He loves lasagna.
And there's one more. Yeah.
Okay.
You throw those into his food bowl, and he helps you find little treasure chests. You get trinkets.
Cool.
You collect coins. There are several really cool features and other prizes and things like that that'll be coming out over time. But it's a fun game, and you know what? It works for some people. Some people don't like it. That's okay, because you should go play Munzee instead, and that's all right.
Which brings us to
we've got a game for everyone.
That's right. So which brings us to Munzee, which is our main topic tonight, I guess. Although I'm glad you mentioned all those things, because I think people needed to know. They wanted to know, and so glad we covered that. We're just going to kind of dive in the middle, since for time wise, I do want to talk about because we did a show, and Rob, we really appreciate you giving us surprises that we did. We had a show with Joshua a couple of months ago where we did a coexist show, which was a lot of fun to talk about. Can geocaching and Munzee coexist? And we really appreciate you giving away some prizes. We gave some away on the show, and it was just wonderful. So thank you again for that. Because Sydney has been playing more recently. Jesse and I have kind of a similar experience. I joined in 2012. Jesse, what was you were about the same time,
2012, right? Yeah, same thing.
Same thing. And so I had a problem with the app where I could never get anything to scan. Jesse had a very interesting experience. Tell briefly, Jesse, about how you got started in Munzee.
Well, it's like many people back in the day. Like you mentioned, it was 5 points at a time. There wasn't any around me, so I went out and hit a bunch and didn't. And I'm a geocacher, obviously, and I like to hang off mountains and climb trees and boat and all that other stuff, which is what got me into geocaching. So I tried to make Munzee geocaching, and it's not the same. So
yeah,
I hid like some T5 Munzees and. And I was shocked when nobody went and got them. I don't know why they wouldn't want to hike for 5 hours for 5 points. I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hit a few, and nobody in the area really found them. So I just kind of gave up after a little while, and really didn't think about it again until the Moga just last year.
Yeah, and just kind of rediscovered it, but and
it was a completely different game when we came back to it. So
completely from 2012 to 2017.
Yeah, a little bit different.
As you know, it's completely different. But Sydney, when did you? I forget. When did you start? A couple years ago, or
I think my official sign up is somewhere in 2015. But I had the same problem. I live in a small town, like there's farms like right down the street from my house, and so. I logged in. I'm like, there's nothing here. Like, I scanned the 3 Munzees in town. Okay, now what am I supposed to do? And so I kind of just, put it off to the side. And but then I saw Joshua, the geocaching vlogger. He was putting out a bunch of Munzee videos. I was like, well, maybe I'll give this another go. And so I logged back in, and I'm like, wow, there's so many more now. Like all these different kind of evolution ones, and so there's all these new types. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And there's a lot, not necessarily in my town, but I work in a bigger city. So there's quite a bit more up that way. So it's been fun getting all the different kinds and chasing all the mythologicals and stuff like that.
Right. So Rob, what because you, like you said, you experienced it early on like we did. And what's funny too is finding, I think we've all found the large Munzee QR code that's on the back of a piece of plastic hidden in a tree, and you're like, oh, look, I found one on a tree. This is awesome. Because we're so used to now finding them, not there. And so when do you feel like when did virtuals start? Let's start with let me kind of go to virtuals, because virtuals kind of changed everything down a little bit.
Who set you up for the virtual versus physical talk? That's the real question. Who did it?
Yeah, that's an interesting world by itself. But Virtuals.
Happy
and
to talk about it because.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I would say not just virtuals, but when did virtuals and the mystery, the blue Munzee, when, and then of course I want to get into discussion a little bit about what Joshua called on one of his recent videos, the game within a game, because I think those are fascinating. But when did the basic expansion past the greenie kind of begin, and what was the experience like with that?
So the virtual, the mystery came shortly after all the regular Munzees, the greenies,
Right.
Because at the beginning it was just greens, and the original 4 co-founders is Aaron, Chris, Scott, and Josh. 4 of them kind of set this up as, hey, this is a game. Let's just play. Let's have some fun. Let's see what happens. And it jumped off in Germany and Michigan and California, and they were based here in Texas. Going, how'd that happen? So they started trying to figure out shortly after, like, okay, how can we come up with something so that there are more points? And they figured out, that there would be people that would cheat, and what those cheaters would do, and now how do we stop them? And then other team members got added on, and as more team members came in, then here came all the ideas. The virtual was based on something that players kind of started to do, because at one point in time, they were actually like emailing the QR codes back and forth across the world, and changing the coordinates of where it was deployed. And so it was sort of like the original way to share, oh, hey, Sydney, you don't have something in your town. Guess what? Now you do. Here, just cap this one. Let me know when you do, and then I'll email that code to someone else and change the coordinates for them. So it's kind of like, if everyone thinks this is fun, then why not give them a virtual? Why not give them a way to do that?
Right.
And a way to interact with other people. So I think really that was kind of the beginning of a Munzee community, a worldwide community, which is definitely my favorite part of the whole game, is the fact that people can interact with each other, and they don't just sit and talk about, random stuff. They join into a clan together, and then they are able to, from the computer, deploy things in each other's towns, so that if we've got someone right now who's suffering with Parkinson's, and people are dropping, virtuals in that person's town, so that they're able to continue to play and use it as therapy, or use it as just a way to get outside.
Awesome.
So the virtuals play a really cool role in Munzee, and it's kind of different. Sets us apart from kind of the geocaching world, where there's definitely community there, and there's community in Munzee, but the way that you're able to support with our game through the virtual piece is important. The thing about there's a big divide over, the physical game, no, the virtual game. It's kind of geocaching, the lamppost hides versus no, you got to go on an adventure every day, right. Climb a mountain, climb a tree, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Jesse, I'm talking to you.
Now, don't let Jesse fool you. He's found his LPCs too sometimes. So,
yeah, exactly.
Not his favorite, but that's okay. But
you got to have both. You got to have both, because you don't know what the other person is playing for. You need to have trails that are easy for people to access, because whenever I have the ability to travel to events, one of the most amazing things to me is hearing people's stories, and you guys have shared yours, and talking with people who say, that they didn't have the ability to walk 100 yards, and now they get out and they'll walk along a street, and they'll cap at every light pole, at every stop sign, at every whatever, every 50 feet because they can see that and they can say, oh, the next one's just right over there. Oh, I'm going to stop after 3 more. And 3 more, they go, oh, but the next one's just 100 feet further. And before you know it, you've walked, let's say, half a mile. Now you got to turn around and walk half a mile back.
And that's
so I love those stories.
That's such a cool item because, and again, we don't have time tonight to talk about. We'll have to do this again. Rob, can you come back one day? We can talk more about Munzee and fitness, Munz Fit.
Anytime. Munz Fit. It's coming soon, by the way. There's another spoiler for you. It's coming soon. We've got an announcement tomorrow. So
sweet.
Be ready for that. But
but
virtual, physical, there's a ton of different types, and I'll tie it back into what you were asking me, which is what we do, and this is another one of those things that I think differentiates us from geocaching, and it's kind of my passion too. So I've got the passion of the community, love to go and visit, love to travel and see people and help grow the game and those kinds of things. But the rest of it is keeping the game fresh. And so that's where all the new types come in.
Yes.
There have been a couple of times where we got a bit over anxious and we put out 500 new types in 32 days, and you go,
wait a minute,
I can't even follow the 12 you already had. So we know that.
Well, and then I want to briefly mention, because you mentioned about the person with Parkinson's, and that made me think of something that when we were at MHQ, we walked in, which I've told the story before, but there was a board there because y'all had been involved with the ALS challenge where you were selling the Ice Cube virtual, and the board was covered with, which was awesome. And then Susan and I found a Munzee Garden, which we don't have time for Munzee Gardens tonight, but we found one. It was a big pink ribbon, which is virtuals that you can make in different shapes on the game board, and it was it's up in Frisco, and we've done as many as we could on that one day. But
that's at the National Breast Cancer Foundation. That was
oh, cool. Is that where that is? Okay, cool. Yeah,
$36,000 donation that we sent to them. Thank you to all the players who help us do that. Yeah, that's what we did there.
That's incredible. Yeah, the Munzee and causes really, I think, is wonderful. I mean, we would applaud that tremendously because I think that's just incredible. Susan would stop. She lost her mother to breast cancer, and so I'm just capping like crazy. We're in the parking lot. We're just capping along, and she's reading. She's not going as fast as me. She's reading the notes on each of those pink ribbons, and of course, I'm like, I'm not being very sensitive here. I was capping as fast as I could, baby. But but I appreciated that, and I know that she really appreciated the fact that Munzee was involved and still is involved in so many of those causes. It's wonderful.
Tomorrow you heard
tomorrow's more info. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it's almost tomorrow, Sydney's time, but no, it's okay.
Couple more hours.
Getting close. But thank you, and I appreciate that. That's the extension of the community. That's all those pieces tying together. That's me wanting to keep the game fresh. That's us wanting to give back to the community. That all of those things are super important. They're our core. They will continue to be our core with this freeze tag merger, and they're excited about that as well. But new types of Munzees. And we do try and keep them some physical, some virtual, just giving everybody a way to play your own game, play the game your way, those types of slogans, because there's something for everyone. And how about if I tie in the game within the game?
Yes, the game with the game. Thank you, Rob. We're moving on. So flat Robs and flat Matts of late. So how did Flat Rob come about, Rob? Three-dimensional.
I went on vacation.
Did you really?
I went on vacation.
And that's what
I took a week off.
Yep.
I was not known for taking time off at all. And I took a week. And the day before I left, they said to me, "Can we do whatever we want?" And foolishly, I said, "Within reason, sure you can."
Why not?
And keep the game running. Keep the game running. That was pretty much it. Just don't light everything on fire. Keep it running. Have fun. Do something cool. Sure, no problem. And I woke up one day to, hey, everybody, welcome Flat Rob. And I'm like, what
That's awesome.
on earth are you talking about? Because you and I both know that if I had put Flat Rob in the game, that's like some serious, I have some issues about me and like, hey, everybody, check me out. Yeah. And I swear I'm way. But Flat Rob, I blame the team for that one.
Okay.
It was a really cool addition to the game, and Flat Rob is on the map whenever I'm out of the office, specifically for like work-related stuff. Sometimes we do it if I'm out for vacation, personal trip, any of that kind of stuff. So, and the reason that I say that is because sometimes I'm capping or deploying away from here. And let's say it's a Saturday and people will start freaking out because I'm in Houston and I'm playing. And it's like, listen, everybody, it's called the weekend. I'm just visiting my parents. It's going to be okay. Flat Robs are not on the map because I'm just visiting Houston. I wasn't working today. Thought it would be okay. So that's Flat Rob. So Flat Matt got added to the map because Matt's worked for Munzee for 3 years. And he was the first employee beyond Scott and I to work for Munzee with for 3 years. And he goes and travels to a bunch of events, and he's the other part of like the building community out there with everyone, growing the game, that kind of thing. So because he travels, we could do the same thing. Matt is a big sports guy. He loves baseball. He loves hockey. He loves the sports ball. Truly, it doesn't matter what it is. He loves it, and especially if it's a live game. He's got a specific sports schedule that when local teams are home, Flat Mats are on the map. So we have the Texas Rangers baseball team. We have FC Dallas soccer team.
Frisco Rough Riders.
Frisco Rough Riders, which is the local minor league baseball team. We have the Dallas Stars because he's a huge hockey fan, and there may be a couple of other sports added in soon for him. But that's kind of a fun thing. Also, when he travels to events, then he's on the map as well. So if Matt and I both go to an event, you got all of us on the map, and it gets a bit overwhelming. So thanks to those of you who do the whole, hey, 3D Rob. It's fun. I enjoy it. And that's even the name of this podcast. So I appreciate that.
That's our thing is 3D Rob. I started talking with Flat Rob one day for the show, and Susan's like, it's not Flat Rob, it's real Rob. I mean, no. Yeah. But so something else that we're really, I mean, and again, we're not really having enough time to get into all these, but where did the idea come about with, and I'm going to kind of lump them together. I know some people are going to be like, well, they're completely different games, but the Scatter Munzee, the Elements, I'm trying to think of everything they call, because all of those, all of those do a similar thing. Those two do similar things in the fact that when you cap those, you create other things, like fire. The Fire Munzee is great. Susan, of all and the fact that there's a badge. I mean, there's so many awesome badges. We don't have time for all the stinking badges tonight, but because we love them, we love the badges. Susan and I are we get into the badges a lot, but she wanted a badge. This is kind of how wonderful Munzee is. She wanted the badge that when something bad happens on a fire Munzee and you get burned, you lose 5 points. She wanted that. She wanted to lose 5 points on purpose. So she's like, well, how can I get burned? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll do some checking. And I check with Joshua, and I'm like, no other game that I know of where you want to do something and get negative points, but you want to do it on purpose.
So badges completely. That's a game within the game. There are people who play just like Susan, and that's cool. And the fire specifically was a test, because what we've wanted to do for probably 3 years, we've talked about do something to take points away just for fun, just messing with people. And so we did it on April Fool's Day, just wrote messages that people lost 1,000 points. And, oh my gosh, why? And so then we released the Fire Mysteries and told people, you have a chance of losing, but you're going to get this badge. And it just went really well. So now it's like, how can we do this some more? It's just fun. I enjoy that part of it, of like, just how far can I push this game within the game? How far can I push it? Because Munzee is all about points. Munzee is not about the coolest tree that you've ever climbed. It's not about hanging off a cliff. You can do those things because Jesse's going to deploy them, and that's cool. But not every Munzee is going to be like that, and not every person is going to go after them. That's an option. It's absolutely an option. But I want to have something fun for me. I want to go get these things because I'm getting a badge, because I'm getting a special icon, because I have a chance to win an Xbox, because I have whatever. They've all been out there because I like playing rock, paper, scissors. I mean, that's a game within our game as well.
Right, right.
This is Munzee. You scan it, and it pops up and says, pick one. Which one are you going to pick?
I always pick random.
And guess what? A player submitted that. That
A
was
random
contest.
Yeah.
We had a contest. We had a contest to see who can help us create a brand new type of Munzee. And Deidre, she won that contest, and she actually came to visit MHQ. I don't know, about 6 weeks probably after she won the contest, and we told her, be sure you stop by. And we had a special event, and she deployed the very first rock paper scissors ever in the game.
That's awesome.
On her account here in McKinney. So it was kind of cool.
That is awesome.
That was a game within the game. We've got more. There's more. There's more of those kinds of things.
I know, it's awesome.
So,
well, speaking of it, and you were talking about hanging off a cliff, and so we want to ask you, specifically Jesse's going to take this portion of it, but do you feel like that there is a way to do sort of what we'd call an adventure Munzee? So Jesse, ask away.
See, now it's too late to ask now because he already said don't just send an idea. Send an idea with a way to do it and contacts and stuff. And I don't have that. So you already set me up, but I'll do it anyway.
Hey, if he can deploy, especially as a CZeeO, we, as the podcast of record for the world, can ask this kind of question directly of the president.
Okay.
So go ahead, Jesse.
Bring it on.
No, so like we kind of talked about early on, and I mistakenly tried to play Munzee like geocaching originally, but there are still some that are out far away, but that's not the general idea. It would be neat though if there was a way, like a special type of Munzee or whatever that did take longer to get to. Now, normally you want to hit 100 in a row, but if there's one that you could put out in a way, like up a mountain, on an island or something like that, that would be kind of maybe it was more rare or something. That would entice some of the adventure seekers out there, I think, as well. I know at least one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I wonder who. We're in a Yankees cap right now.
Maybe.
Maybe, right? So here's one thing. Tons of possibilities. Always. We just launched a bunch of places of interest, points of interest, airports, and those kinds of things. So we just launched those. And what you may have noticed is, we put them out ourselves first, and that's because we could specifically choose locations. And then we opened it up and said, okay, who wants one? And now there's an approval process. So this is the very first time that we've ever had an approval process. Mm-hmm. And so that sort of thing is necessary for what you're talking about, because I don't trust people, which is unfortunate for the world. But
we understand people are going to make a mess of things.
I can identify with that.
Yeah,
right. I went. One of the coolest caches that I found was down a river in Arkansas, and it was called Big Bertha, and it was down off a cliff, except we floated the river for like an hour to get to it, and thankfully we found it. And someone could put a Munzee there, and the problem is that the Munzee could be up on the top of the cliff, and I could say that it's down at the bottom, and now it's an adventure. It's not an adventure at the top. So so we need to have things in place in order to do that kind of stuff. And for the first time ever in now 6 years, we've kind of got a system that we're running through. The problem is officially there are 4 of us who look at all of those places, and officially there are 4 of us. Actually, there's probably 1 of us now that looks at them anymore, and it's not this guy.
Right.
And so when we have a lot of those things coming in, then obviously we get overwhelmed. But what you're talking about is definitely not out of the picture. It would be something that we would definitely have a reduced capture range on, and make it something that would definitely be special. It wouldn't necessarily be virtual. It would be something that is, like you said, adventure. I love it because I've got a lot of really cool memories from my geocaches that I went and found, and a couple of them in Hawaii or wherever, that took me to some really unique places. And I would love to do that with Munzee. I think we're getting close. How about that, Jesse?
Well, I know that Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, has helped us start that. So he put one at the top of a 14er in Colorado, and I went and was able to go and capture it. So there's your first one on top of a 14er.
And that's it. There would probably be a lot of Munzees out there that I would love to be able to say, you know what, you've got a really cool spot. Now that we're ready, submit the ones that you've already deployed as greenies that nobody in their right mind is going to hike for 5 points to get for the going ape cache or something crazy.
Well, wait, now he's
that,
about to give you more points here, maybe, possibly, Jesse.
There you go.
So based on that,
and that's the thing. If we could an upgrade, if we could put out brand new ones, I think things like that are definitely right. And my goal, and I don't have any problem kind of saying, hey, guess what? I go to big geocaching events because I want people to play Munzee.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty clear. I go to Woodstock. I go to the big events, and if I'm not there, Matt is, or someone, because that's what we believe in, and we get our ideas and we talk to the people, and it's just fun. And I would love to be able to talk with more Jessies and say, hey, every lamppost, we're not on every street sign, we're not on every one of those. Are we on most of them? Yes, we are. Because we are a get your points and move on. We're fast and we're all about the points. But did you know that we have the trail Munzee? Did you know that we have this? Did you know that we have the adventure Munzee? Those types of things that's what we want to be able to do, because I want to have a reason for geocachers to say, Munzee, oh yeah, I found a really cool one, and have some story attached to that, as opposed to Munzee, no man, they're on every lamppost. I'd love to have some come on together time. So that's my goal.
So, very true. I think we've I'm Jesse and Sydney can chime in here, but there have been times when we were either geocaching and found a Munzee. We're like, oh wow, look at this, or we've been Munzeeing and we found a geocache.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
both those have happened. And where we will typically we'll do primary and secondary. So some days our primary will be geocaching, but our secondary is to Munzee, and then vice versa. But I like that idea of, and I think, and we didn't have time tonight, but I think that I have gotten a lot more steps in, because Susan won't let me just cap virtuals. She's like, all right, gotta get out. So we'll park somewhere. And we'll downtown McKinney, and we'll walk the streets, and chase, because that's the great thing about the physical Munzees that are games within a game is you set off a fire or ice Munzee, mystery Munzee, whatever they are, and now you got to go hunt those guys down. So you're causing yourself, or you're creating more fun than just, which is fun in itself, just doing the walking, because I need to get out and walk, and capping as we go, and getting all sorts of cool different things. The the zodiacs, capturing all the zodiac Munzees, or the rock paper scissors. There's so many different kinds. The scatter Munzee causes you to walk further, and so forth. So, like you said, I would love to see that kind of item in the future someday, where this is a special Munzee, but to get to it, like Jesse said, it's going to take some planning. It's going to take a special trip out somewhere. And the places of interest, we will, if we see one of those, we will, I wouldn't say stop, but we will make it part of. We were in Tyler doing geocaching and munzing, and there's one at the Tyler Zoo, and so we're like, oh, okay, let's make sure we roll over to the Tyler Zoo, and while we're there, Susan gets to take her pictures of her flowers, which she loves, and we captured the POI for Tyler. So I think you guys have, like you said, you are starting to capture something that I think is very special. And I know the trail Munzee's been around for a while. I'm the physical ones, so I'm hoping to plan some days to do more trail Munzees.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're getting to the end here.
We really haven't even scratched the surface.
I know, we really haven't.
There's so much more to it, really.
Yeah, my apologies, because I got a story for every question.
That's okay. There's clans, there's ZEOPs, there's events, there's a lot of cool things, which is kind of all interesting. And again, we'll need to talk about those on another day. But I do want to mention before we wrap up tonight about MHQ Bash 4, which is Friday, September 22nd through the 24th. It's in McKinney. Sorry, Sydney. You can fly down. I'll give you a ride. You can come down and stay and everything. Yeah.
You pay for my plane ticket, Gary?
No. I got a couch. Josh was the geocaching vlogger is going to be in the. Well, you know what? We'll put him on the couch. You get the back room. We'll make the guy. He can sleep on the couch. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
But that is that weekend, and it's in the show notes, so people can go read all the different things that are going on for the bash. I have my registration. Registration's closed, but you can show up the day of and enjoy the bash, and you can. So Rob, if people show up and they want to buy whatever they can buy individual items, but if they buy a registration that day, they might get some of this stuff. There's no guarantee though, right?
Right. It's mainly the shirt, and we've got a couple of special items that we haven't really promoted exactly what they are, and a couple of them that we have, but it's going to be awesome. We can't wait. We've put a lot of time and planning in this, and this year's theme is all in. And if you kind of look at the logos and stuff, it's casino based, and we've moved into an amazing, very large office with a ton of open space. And I'll just leave it there again. It's casino themed.
Yeah, it's because we went in there and you've got a large space in there, so it's gonna be awesome to see everything as you guys set up MHQ and to go that we're coming Friday, Saturday, and I don't know, Sunday we gotta check on that one, but we're coming Friday and Saturday. But Saturday we've got an all-in Eventsy hunt at 10 a.m. We've got Oktoberfest in downtown McKinney. Is that near the old MHQ in that area, the walking area?
Yes, they close off the entire square, and so if you want to experience a pretty good Oktoberfest with beer and pretzels and all of that, bands and polkas and you name it, it really is fun. I can't even, it's more than 20,000 people come through on the weekends. So for us to have groups of people out playing Munzee, it works for us. So we haven't done it during this weekend for 2 years because because we always had other things going on that weekend. We were all working in the marketplace, but now we're now we're gonna play. It's gonna be good.
Everybody will be there.
So,
That's
the whole
awesome.
weekend's gonna be fun. It's gonna be at our local parks as well. One of them has mountain bike trails and some of that, so we're gonna have a good time with that. And the other is a 3K walk on Sunday morning around one of our, it's called Town Lake, it's a pond. But we're gonna walk around that, and it's got some Poke Stops and a Poke Gym, so you can play all your geolocation games in one place. Serious coexist.
That's awesome. See, very coexist, because that's right up Electric Water Boys. He was in the chat room tonight, but that's his thing. He loves him some Pokemon Go, but we'll need to bring him up here to the North Dallas area to do that. So. All right.
If anybody's close, you need to be here. Pick a day. Come show up. Come visit us at our new office. We love it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for giving me the time. And seriously, anytime you want to talk Munzee, anytime you want me to talk geocaching, you want to talk AR games, you want to talk location-based gaming, I'm more than happy. I got time. So let me know.
We really do appreciate it. We're so thankful that we got to have you on and talk about those. It's exciting for us to hear about it, and we looking forward to the future. So just excited to see what all happens in the future. So any last thoughts, Jesse or Sydney, before we wrap up?
Sydney, you want to go first?
Well, I'm actually going to be in the Frisco McKinney area in November, so I'm hoping to stop by your guys' new place and check things out and get a bunch of points, because there's a whole bunch of stuff down there the
map gets a little overwhelming, so you have to kind of.
I bet.
My
phone doesn't just
If you don't stop by, then I might be insulted. So now you absolutely have to.
I will.
I've got it on record here. So be here. Right. Be there. That'll be good.
Stop by. That's for sure. Yep.
So I would say we have to have you back on, because we didn't scratch the surface, like I said, but we didn't even get to my favorite parts of the game, so I didn't really get to pipe in and talk. When I'm not hanging off mountains, my other favorite thing absolutely is competition. And there actually is some competition, and we didn't get to talk about clans, which in ZeeOps, we didn't get to talk about those. And then the other coolest thing, and it was brought up in the chat room, but is the special. I don't know exactly all the terms. I'm still pretty new, so the specials that they just pop up, and the first person to go get them, and that's it.
Yeah,
that is so fun. So it's like racing for an FTF and geocaching, except for only one person gets it, and then it's gone. So they can just pop up at any time on any of the ones around the area. I don't know what algorithm you use for that, but it's cool when one pops up close by, and there's a couple of Munzee players around here, and if somebody doesn't get it, the other one's going to get it pretty quickly. So that's kind of a neat race to an FTF that you don't get all the time. So
that's cool.
I like that injects competition in the game some. So
nice. I was an FTF hunter big time. And so I kind of brought that piece into the game because I love it. I love competition in general, and I don't like losing. So it's one of those things. We have competition in our office as well, and cool. I'm glad to hear that. Love to come back and talk whenever about all of it.
We'll definitely talk about those, because those are fascinating. The mythologicals, the nomads. I didn't get to ask you about nomads because I'm baffled. I've gotten one, and I don't know how you can get a badge with 500 rovers.
You didn't mention rovers. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff.
I mean, like I said, it just yes.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We're gonna have Rob back on, and we're gonna talk about some of these other great things that are sometimes a lot of fun to hunt. Left-hander day. I don't want to get started on what I did on left-handers day. Try and chase down thumbs and all that. So but it was fun. I was a little frustrated at times. Susan's like, anyway, we're going to get into it tonight. So, okay. That'll be another night. We'll talk about all those. So, all right. So, coming up on the show next week, we have on Jolene and Yeno. They are a Belgian couple. They have a YouTube channel, so go check out their YouTube channel. As I mentioned last week, I've watched some of their videos. You can see what they're doing. I don't understand Dutch, so I don't understand what they're saying. But the videos are kind of cool. They go to cool places. They travel a lot. But they're opening a Belgian a coffee shop in Belgium called GOT, and they'll tell us about where they got the idea, how it's going, and they'll talk about their YouTube channel. And all of their experiences. They said they do a lot of traveling. They've been on videos of various things. They've got a lot of cool experiences. So that's next week, and that's at a special time. We're doing it at 3 p.m. because, again, it's live, and in Belgium it's 7 hours different. So it'll be 10 o'clock their time, but they were more than gracious to us to have do our live show a little bit early, but for them, it'll work out to be 10 o'clock. So week after that, we have on Janji. I have to ask her. It's Angie, but their geocaching name is Janji. Does that sound like I did it right, Sydney?
I think so, yeah.
Because it's Angie, and I figured that she added part of her husband's name. So
right.
She's going to talk about geocaching and social media, because she is really good at Instagram and periscopes and all these different things around social media. And Joshua Johnson suggested this, so he better be listening. Of course, he usually listens to us on the podcast during the week in his car, but he suggested this. So if he doesn't, he needs to be. We almost think force him to be on the show because it was his idea. But anyway, and then the week after that, we're going to have on Fuzzy B, who's going to talk about the Mother's Challenge. So Rob, you'll like this one. This is a geocache that has been DNF'd, probably hundreds of times, at least 500. I have to go look it up, but it's only been found twice.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. And so, of course, everybody's going to want to try to eke out of him some information about how to find this crazy thing, but people will search for hours and not find this geocache, but he checks on it. And like I said, it's been found twice. And we just want to hear about the stories about how this whole crazy thing came about. So anyway, well, folks, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at geocachetalk. Mine is at Gary Slinkard. Jesse is at Memphis_Mafia. Sydney is at ShermanatorGC. And Rob, you are at CZeeO, right?
Yes, CZeeO. Yep.
Oh, there you go. Yep. So that's his Twitter. And our Facebook is facebook.com/geocachetalk. Show can be found on iTunes and all those other places I mentioned before. Go check it out. And, of course, as well as our Geocache Talk website. So don't forget to click on the subscribe button below so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching or Munzee. Go geocaching and Munzee on. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks.